welcome to the latest episode of the Talking Balls podcast. The snooker podcast comes out every Wednesday morning. So I'm Michael Wright, Writer74, of your host, and as I can see in my window here is my co-host Lee.
Hi everyone, good to be here. Thanks for joining us. We're speaking to a talented Welsh player tonight. Looking forward to the chat.
So if you're on the YouTube, you'll see him. If you're listening on the audio, obviously this is still a mystery for you. But we've got Liam Davies here, so just a big thank you, Liam, for coming and having a chat with us tonight.
No problem.
So, some people might have seen you before. If they tuned into the Christmas episode, the Christmas quiz, they'll have seen you in a car in the kind of in the car park, I think, wasn't it, when you were skipping in between matches?
Yeah.
Where was that?
In the Pandaren club, it's a social club. There was only a league game, but I played my frame and then I come out. And then done it in the car.
So you want your
quizzes and all my thing.
So it was good fun. It was, I think, we uncovered a bit of a trivia star there, Matthew, who kind of him and Joe Perry dominated, I think.
Yeah. Lee was just about as much good as me as well. So
and he couldn't blame being in the car, could he? He couldn't blame anything on that. So how are you doing so far? I mean, obviously we saw you just the other week at the shootout. Obviously that concluded at the weekend with Hussein Vafai winning. So great to see a new name, really. But unfortunately, you didn't get too much table time, really, because Alan Taylor kind of ripped through, really, didn't he? Once you had a go, and I think you missed the corner, didn't you? And that was him in then. How did it feel, the whole occasion? And you've been there before anyway, haven't you?
Yes, it's just a great experience, really. And playing on the TV table in front of that many people, it's a good experience. But the shootout's a lottery and anybody can win. But like I say, it's a great experience just to play on that table in front of them people is priceless, really.
And you've got to say, Liam, you've been probably the most unluckiest player in the shootout. Back in 2019, Ricky Walden made 132 against you. And then you've got Alan Taylor made 103 against you. That's your two experiences of the shootout.
Yeah. Maybe I should sit in the car for the shootout as well.
Yeah.
That's sitting in the car.
Just don't unpack your cue.
Yeah.
But also, you were the youngest player to ever compete in a professional event by playing in the shootout in 2019. But what was the experience like? How did you find the crowd?
I just loved it, really. Just trying to take it all in, just get as much experience from that as possible. And I think that's all you can really take it as, to be honest. It's great if you can get a couple of wins, but it's not the end of the world if you don't win. You just got to try and take everything as it comes.
Yeah, I suppose the whole experience of the shootout's going to stand you in better stead than a few wins.
Yeah.
There's a cracking pot as well, the one against Taylor there, the one where you did get yourself going. I mean, that was quite a tricky one. You cracked that one in lovely. You got a great reception from the crowd when you potted that. Did you feel that warmth towards you?
Yeah, it's great, really. The buzz you get from that is why you play snooker, really. People cheering and it's lovely. But the table is so reactive, that main table. I played 200 the yellow because the practice tables before as well, they were really reactive. And I thought I wanted the yellows hard and it still flew. I overscrewed it by about a foot in the end. So again, that's just all experience. I know next time that they are unbelievably reactive. So
yeah, I mean, the table you practice on, Liam, it must be pretty fast, but was this just different league altogether with the TV lights and
I got a start table, but it's lovely, but that's just different. I've never played on anything like that before. It was lovely.
Yeah, even for the pros, I think they were saying it's something that they're not used to. It's a lot faster than the tables on there. So even they were coming out a little bit.
I don't suppose you get much time to practice at the venue, because obviously in some events you get quite a bit of time upstairs, don't you, depending on the layout. I mean, did you get any chance to get any practice before that? 10 minutes?
10 minutes before, yeah. It was only 10 minutes slot, so I had 10 minutes just before I went out, so...
Yeah, it's pretty tricky.
It's not much.
Yeah.
So Sorry, Mike. I take it at the moment, Liam, you're just playing in whatever tournament you can play in, you know, just to gain valuable experience. And
any tournament anyway, and I'll be there.
Yeah, and in 2020, you had a great run in the Welsh tournaments. You were under 14, under 16, and under 18 champion, Welsh champion the same year, and you just missed out in under 21s. As well, getting beaten in the final by Dylan Emery. That would be lovely to do all four.
All of them, Hopefully I can do the under 16s, under 18s, under 21s and men's this year. Try and make up for losing last year.
That'd be some achievement.
Yeah.
I think what's exciting about getting you on really is just the fact that, I mean, you hold yourself really well. You're quite, I don't know whether you're told this or not, or whether this is just how it comes across, but you seem quite grounded and mature. And I you know, thinking of being 15, and this is meant in the best way possible, but you've got so much ahead of you. And already you're getting experience on the TV, you're getting experience of playing against tour players, and obviously you're working with your coach, Lee, who's, you know, can't find too many more experienced players around really. What kind of ambitions have you got at the moment? You know, where are you looking at? I'm sure you're not looking too far ahead anyway, but you know, what kind of goals are you setting yourself, or is that between you and Lee?
Well, at the moment, I just want to turn pro now, as soon as possible. I wanted to turn pro yesterday. I want everything yesterday, but don't happen like that. So, but when the time's right, I'll turn pro and then hopefully go on to bigger and better things then.
And what's your best chances of getting on that? I guess you've got the new Q Tour this season, haven't they, that you're involved in as well? Is that your best chance of getting in?
I think that's one of the tougher ones, really. I think we got the February the 14th. I'm going to Sheffield for the WSF, and that's under 18s, and they do an open as well. So obviously, the under 18s is a good chance in that. And then you've got the Europeans then in Portugal, and there's an under 20 Poland, sorry, and there's a card on the under 21. So they are probably the best two chances, really, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, Liam, really the easiest of those targets would probably be the European Championships.
Yeah,
I'm saying easiest. Obviously, it's not easy, but you know, that's probably your best shout. Yeah, because we know how hard Q School is.
Oh, it's brutal. Q School's brutal on that. Best of sevens and all the players that playing in that, it's just brutal.
Yeah, I mean, some of the guys, the ex-pros there, they've got bags of experience. Yeah. You know, you don't want to be cutting your teeth at Q School trying to get through onto the pro circuit, you know.
We ran a poll about this probably a couple of months ago now, and it was all about, you know, how you term players as professional or amateur. That, to me, I don't know, you've been involved in this a lot longer, Lee, really, but, you know, for me, there's a massive difference between professionals, which by name are the guys on the tour, and then there's almost everyone else seems to be amateur. But amateur could be the guys who have been on the tour for years and dropped off, or it could be somebody who's just on the edge and maybe missed out on Q School. But equally, couldn't amateur be somebody who plays in, you know, in a local ex-servicemen's club or something, or British Legion club, and waves a stick every so often and doesn't do much more than that? I mean, that's a very big term, isn't it? It doesn't really, for me, it doesn't quite cover what some of you guys do or the level you get to.
Yeah, I think that the topper amateurs could easily be a pro, and like the bottom pros could be amateurs. I don't think there's much difference between the bottom pros and the top amateurs. But obviously then they're pros and we're amateurs, so it's one of them things, I think.
Yeah, you could just about call them semi-pros, really, if they're dropped, maybe if they're dropped off the tour. I mean, it's like you're saying, Michael, it's a huge gulf between the guy that's playing one league game every week to, you know, somebody that's just dropped off the tour. You know, it's a huge gulf in class, so you could probably call those guys semi-pros.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just
take someone like Michael White. He's won a couple of ranking events, but he's still an amateur, so it's one of them things, really,
isn't it?
Yeah, it does seem a bit bizarre, really. And going back to the shootout, I mean, we're currently got a poll at the moment on the Twitter, and it was about, you know, it's a lot of fun, and we were just wondering out of the fans what they thought of it, you know, and it looked like it was maybe 45 to 50% of the fans love it, there's probably a similar number who are in the middle, and there's only about 10% who really hate it. So it sounds like it's one of them that's fairly disposable, but a bit of fun. But also, there's a lot of people who enjoy the difference and probably the extra noise from the crowd. I remember Stuart Bingham the other night just seemed to be loving it. Certain players seem to just almost want to be more in the darts atmosphere rather than in the snooker atmosphere, at least for one tournament anyway.
Yeah, I think it's great for snooker, but I'm not really too sure about it being a ranking event. Like, I don't know, maybe that kicking somebody off the tour, I think that's a bit harsh, but I love the event. I think it's brilliant for snooker, and I think it'd actually get more people involved with snooker. Like, if her children watched that, I think they'd probably find that more entertaining than an actual game of snooker.
Yeah.
So I think it's good in some ways, but I'm not too sure it should be a ranking event.
No.
Yeah, no, that's the next poll. That's next week's poll. That is. I think you'll be joined by an awful lot of people on that one. It does seem harsh, doesn't it? If somebody loses their card and that makes a difference, then that's an odd one, isn't it? Excuse me. Sorry, I'm just coming out of some sort of respiratory thing that's been going around. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it, but it's just finished. Something called COVID. I'm not sure if you.
Oh, not nice.
It's nearly gone. So it's a bit croaky. I'm a bit Pat Butcher tonight. So that's a reference for certainly not for the youngsters in the audience. So I think that's the point, really, isn't it? You're almost on the edge of big things. And would you just talk us through, obviously how you got onto the shootout this year, because that was to do with winning the Welsh title, wasn't it? In terms of kind of what you had to do to get there.
Yeah. Like all the Welsh junior ones, I've won all them, and I think it was because of that. And I also had a good run in the Cute Tour as well. I think that helped as well. So but I was just grateful for the opportunity to play in the shootout again.
And how much notice did you get? Is this just kind of a random phone call or a text or email or something inviting you down? How does that all work for you?
Yeah, it was an email a couple of weeks before when the entry pass came out, probably like 3-4 weeks before. So it's all right. It's not something you can really pay for, though, is it, the shootout? You just gotta. It's just off the cuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, what does Lee say about it? I mean, we've had obviously your coach Lee Walker on. We've had him on a little while ago, and he was quite good-humoured about the slow play element. I mean, that's obviously something that gets levelled at him at times, along with some other people. I mean, that just doesn't look like his kind of thing at all, does it?
No. I don't think he'll ever win a game in the shootout, Lee.
So would you talk us through then? I mean, obviously, I don't know how many hours you put in on practice, or what kind of work you do with Lee, and who else is involved. I mean, I'm presuming at times you're around people like Mark Williams as well. How does that all work? What kind of commitment and what do you get up to?
Oh, I'm on the table more than the cloth at the minute. I'm not in school, so I'm literally on the table all the time. And my dad's just taken over Mark's club.
Oh, okay.
So me, Mark, and Jackson to play pretty much. We play a few times a week, and we'd have played points, 5p a point.
Okay.
So that's a good laugh.
So you're playing right down to the black, basically. Yeah.
5p a point. Yeah.
That
Mark
could be
tries
quite.
to take all my money off me.
Yeah, he's brutal. That can be quite a costly day. I suppose it'll bring out your best snooker in you.
Yeah.
I think they should be ashamed of themselves personally. It's you're 15 for goodness sake. What's going on?
I mean, that'll be the pocket money.
Yeah, I had £20 off him. I had £20 off him and Jackson one time, and then he had me back a couple of days ago. He had £20 off me, and he made me pay for dinner.
Oh,
so he had £40 off me.
God,
I suppose it's a good way to learn. You'll learn quick.
I was going to say, yeah, it's a hard taskmaster, but then you'll thank him in the future, won't you? When you're out there getting the prize money in the tournaments.
He's just unbelievable, Mark. Some of the stuff he does is just scary at times.
Yeah, he plays shots you would never think of.
No, yeah. He's one of them players who could just sit there and watch all day. So he's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and Jackson's quite some talent as well, and he's obviously still very young. how's Jackson Page coming along?
It's just unbelievable. Like the standard of the games that we play is just frightening. And because Mark and Jackson, they're attacking, the balls are always open, so there's just break after break after break. It's unbelievable.
So there's a lot of sitting down.
Yeah, and taking balls out.
Do not get a lot of practice on your safety game, or do you almost do that as fun, but then have time with Lee as well, where you're working on aspects of the game? How much time do you work with Lee then as your coach?
It depends really. Like if I'm playing really well, then we don't really spend that much time. But if I start to struggle or whatever, or I'm slightly offline, then we do have a couple of hours then. But Lee likes to just let me get on with it. Yeah. He says he doesn't want to overcoach me while I'm still young, so that's good as well.
So are you doing the side right coaching, Liam?
Yeah, side right. Yeah.
Yeah, you're on that. So what's your sort of routine on the day when you go into practice at the start? Will you do a bit of solo practice and then maybe play with Mark or Jackson or both?
Yeah, well, we got this club in Merthyr as well. So if I'm not playing with Mark, if I'm playing with Mark and Jackson, then I'd just go down the one in Tredegar. That's like 5 minutes from my house. Whereas if I'm playing on my own, I'll come over here then, and it's like 10 minutes away. So I got my own table over here, and it's nice in here. So
that's great. So you've got plenty of opportunities, plenty of options.
Yeah.
I wouldn't who to practice with.
Yeah.
I mean, it must be quite inspiring, really, to have somebody like Mark Williams that you can see as often as you can. I mean, it's not just a local kind of star, is he? I mean, he's one of the best players in the game for a long time now. I mean, he's been at that level and doesn't look to be letting go either, does he? I mean, he just looks as if he's just loving it, isn't he?
Yeah. He's loving the golf as well. He's always playing golf.
Loving the golf, yeah. You can see on Twitter he loves the golf.
Yeah,
for sure. Is there?
Sorry, carry on, Michael.
No, I was just saying. Is there anything that I'm not sure that there is a lot they can say, but is there anything in terms of tips or hints in terms of what they see in your game or the way you approach it that you found helpful over the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's really good. Like obviously watch Mark and see what shots he would play, but then obviously if I play a shot and Mark doesn't agree with it, he'd say, well, why didn't you play this way? So you learn like that as well. So it's priceless, really.
Yeah, that's a great thing that he'll actually stop you after the shot and explain what he would have done and why he should have done it.
Yeah.
As you say, invaluable experience.
Yeah, he won't tell me before, mind. He'll wait till I play and mess it up, and then he'll tell me.
He'll wait to take your money off you, and then he'll tell you later.
Yeah, but there's 5p a point.
Yeah, you're not going to mess about for that, are you? You know, you're not going to give that away. So, yeah, have a chat later. But yeah, that's cool.
It's a kebab at the end of the day for Mark.
Oh, he loves them as well. Wetherspoons we'd go to every day. We'd go to Wetherspoons.
They do a good breakfast.
Yeah. Ham, egg and chips is Mark's favourite. So we'd have all the
time. World exclusive. Ham, egg and chips. Mark
exactly.
Williams. Breakfast of champions. It's great though, isn't it? You're getting all that, as Lee says, that invaluable experience. And if you're playing those guys at whatever level, then you're going to get times, aren't you, where you're playing other people who are nowhere near that kind of level, which hopefully is making it so that your game's really coming on, and then you're bringing it, aren't you, when you're playing more people around your level.
Yeah.
Are you a marked? The right way of putting this. Are you becoming a bit of a marked man? You know, you said that when we met on the Christmas one, you played your game in the club, and then you came back out and you joined us again. But are you getting known around the area, and people starting to think, he's somebody that we want to beat as well, because he could be a big player in the future? Do you get any feel for that?
Yeah, the support in you, I guess, is great. Really, like in the shootout, they had a minibus up from the club, and they all come up to watch. It's unbelievable.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But also the other way, there must be players who are thinking, I'm playing against Liam, and I know that Liam's a good cracking player, and maybe trying harder against you because they think your name's going to be so well known in years to come, hopefully.
Yeah.
So Liam, what's the standard like? At the moment, is there a lot of Welsh players coming through? Obviously, Dylan's just got his tour card, but you got yourself. But is there other young Welsh players coming through?
No, not really. If I'm being honest with you, it's not like junior snooker in Wales is not the best. Like the local leagues and the men's in Wales is obviously quite a nice standard in that, but junior snooker in Wales is not great at the minute. There's quite a bit of work to do on that. I think it's like even the number of entries is quite poor, to be honest. I think the under 18s on the weekend, there was 8 entries in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a problem. This maybe not just in Wales. It's up here in Scotland as well. We've got a few promising players, but there's not a barrage of players coming through. And I think that's the same everywhere. And it's probably down to grassroots snooker in the end of the day.
Yeah, I think the shootout could help that as well. Like I think children these days would like if they've seen a snooker match, they think, oh, that's boring. But the shootout is quite exciting. So I think that maybe could get them into snooker as well. I'm not too sure, but it's just one of them things, I think.
And there's so much more these days for the young guys to do. You got your Xbox, your PS4s, TVs, computers. So a lot of them will be in the house, and I think sort of snooker's a dying breed. You're not even getting people out playing football in the football pitches and stuff. It's a sort of dying breed. Are you a bit of a gamer yourself, or
no? I don't. But my brother loves it. He got a PC and he's on it. He's literally on it all the time. But I never really bought. I just love snooker. That's all I do.
Brilliant.
Excuse me. What was your intro then, Liam, to snooker? Does this go back into the family then, from when you were, a smaller kid?
No, not really. My dad used to play football, and we used to go back to the Labour Club, is called in Abergavenny, and they had a snooker table downstairs. And when I was really little, they used to carry me around the pool table so I could hit the pool shot. And then I was watching snooker on telly one day, and I thought I'd really like to try that. And we went down Mark Williams' club then, and I started playing there. And then I got involved with Lee, and then it just went from there, really. Fell in love with it since.
Just got the bug.
Yeah. It's got to be the most addicting game in the world. You can never perfect it, but you always keep trying to perfect it. It's one of them things.
Yeah, I know. It's like chess on the table.
I think you could have one of the biggest.
It must be really, from a mental point of view, though. I mean, again, you guys are much more. You know what you're talking about. I'm a fan, and I'm not really a player, but the mental side of it, that must be quite a big part of it, isn't it? In terms of your practice. You said already that you don't have to practice or over practice, but surely there's something around the mental preparation and how you handle yourself when you get disappointments, things like that. Does that come into it for you?
Yeah, Mark's good for that as well, really. He just says when you're playing bad, you just got to laugh it off, really. You can't worry about it or anything like that. You just got to laugh it off, and hopefully then it'll come good for you.
Yeah, so you don't hold on to things for too long.
Yeah, and Lee's obviously good for that as well, Lee Walker. He, if ever you've got a problem, he's got that much experience. He literally knows everything, doesn't he? He's been around the game all his life, so if you ever got a problem, he's always there to sort me out.
Yeah, you've certainly got all bases covered with Mark and Lee, so much experience.
Yeah.
Mark comes across, doesn't he, as somebody who doesn't have a care in the world and seems really fairly laid back. Is that how you find him? Is that how we see him?
You never tell who he cares, but he cares. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
Well, he cares enough to rob your money off you, so he definitely cares. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, how appearances but then some of them shots you were talking about, I mean, he played a double the other night then when I was watching him, and okay, the shootout's different, but he still plays some shots, doesn't he? And obviously he'll always now be famous for his break as well, that everybody keeps crediting him for. Have you been trying that one out? Is that not for you, Liam?
No, not for me, that. I can break off and get a white tidy. He can't. That's one thing I'm better than him at.
Mark was playing the conventional break in the shootout, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You would think
if it was ever a tournament, you'd do
exactly.
His break. You'd do the shootout. I just don't get it.
Of course it is.
Playing to the crowd, maybe getting the crowd going. It's like a darts crowd, isn't it? That's the time when the crossover. There's so many fans of snooker who are big fans of darts as well. It's the one time that it almost blends in a way, doesn't it? You can almost see a situation where you have a darts tournament over in one part of a venue, and then almost the shootout in the corner as well, because it's such a similar vibe, isn't it?
I think it's good. The atmosphere up there is unbelievable, and it's probably even better on the finals day and stuff like that. I think it's good, but obviously I'm not too sure. It wouldn't bother me if it was in a normal event, but I think some of the players would be put off by it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Do you think that the fans sometimes just go a little bit too far? You know, once the drink kicks in, they go a wee bit too far. Because I know watching it on the TV, I'm thinking to myself, shut up.
Some of them are not too great. Like you said, when the drink kicks in, then it goes with pear-shaped then.
It's like when you're watching it for 4 hours, you think, well, that's plenty. I'm tempted to put the volume down.
Is that because he's so used to it being a quiet sport, though, Lee, or is it because it generally interferes with enjoying watching it?
Certainly interferes with enjoyment. Yeah. I sort of like peace and quiet anyway, but don't mind, you know, a little bit of rowdiness or whatever, a little bit of shouting out, but I just think it's too much. And it's the same with the darts for me. You know, they keep singing the same songs and like Stand Up If You Love the Darts and stuff. And just, you know, after 4 hours of watching it, it's a bit much.
Oh dear. I find it the bit I don't know, and I don't know, I'm sure there'll be some figures on this, you know, but about the viewing figures, but also about how many people who go to the shootout go to any other tournaments. I think that would be interesting to know. Because, you know, they're singing the names of players. I saw the one the other day, I just caught a bit where Dean Young was playing, and it was Dino, and all of that, and you kind of thought, do these guys know who Dean Young is? Are they part of the group, or is it just it's a good name to sing?
I think snooker fans go to a proper event to watch proper snooker, where as with a shootout, you can just go to the shootout for a day out.
Yeah.
Where a proper event, you'd have to go there and actually be interested in snooker.
Yeah, it's certainly got a good vibe to it. And I think, you know, being once a year, you know, I've not got a lot of problems with it. You know, it's that event, isn't it? You're not putting a lot of stock into it. Results sort of aren't as important as what they would normally be in a normal tournament. So it's once a year. So I suppose it can let their hair down.
It can be massive as well for stuff like, if you could get, I don't know, say maybe if Lee had a good run in the shootout, that could be massive for him, really. With it being a ranking event as well now. So it can really help him. As much as it's bad, I don't think it's great that there is a ranking event. If a lower ranked player could have a run in it, then it can help you out massively.
Yeah, I think we've seen that before. Was it Ryan Day that was struggling to keep his card, and he won the event, and that just put him in a great position again.
Yeah, I guess for some people it's also their first ranking event win, isn't it? And the kind of what goes with that, you know, Michael Holt, local player to me, being in Nottingham, you know, that he won it a couple of years ago, didn't he? Which was probably the summit for him in terms of, you know, the top achievement in his career. And you kind of think, you know, no one will ever take that away now. You know, I think his dad, he was able to kind of share that with his dad, who perhaps wasn't so well at times. And just the pride in it, you kind of think it gives you an opportunity for somebody to come really left field and have all of the attention and do all the things that you'd get for what you might call a more normal ranking event. So it's quite interesting, isn't it? What you seem to be saying, though, Liam, is that perhaps that the authorities and maybe Jason Ferguson and the tour and people like that just need to maybe make more of it then in terms of marketing it and trying to make it something that appeals to a new crowd, and try and really big up on it. I mean, my other half, my missus, she doesn't really like snooker. She finds it hypnotic. She finds it relaxing. She's not interested in it. But then she saw a little clip of it with the shootout, and she was like, "Oh, that's actually quite bearable. I don't mind that. That's quite good fun." But so more could be made of it, really, couldn't it? That's maybe a gateway, a kind of a gateway to a new crowd if it was pushed in that way, perhaps.
Yeah. And I think it is, like you see in different people, because it's only 10 minutes, you see in like two different people all the time, and I think it just keeps you watching it, doesn't it? Whereas sometimes if it's normal snooker and you have a long frame, you think, oh, look at this player, they on there for hours just playing one frame, but it's the way it goes, isn't it?
Excuse me. Yeah, definitely. I think the other thing is that you get to know more players. Whereas I think if you only tune in to the quarters, the semis, and the final of a big event, you're probably going to restrict how many players you see, aren't you?
Yeah.
Whereas even Stan Moody the other day, even just another young fella, kind of just the attention he got there for beating, for winning his game, Lu Ning.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Just an opportunity for some of the young guns like yourself as well to get some attention and to show really that actually when you get an opportunity, there's nothing to be worried about. You guys have got a lot to offer. He probably did a lot for younger snooker there just in that match, didn't he?
Yeah, it's great for him really, and the experience as well playing on the table, and obviously he probably had loads of messages and support, so it's only great for him, isn't it, really?
And of course, I think Stan's the same age as you, isn't he, Liam?
Yeah,
but 15.
Yeah.
He looks so much younger than you. He looks like he's about 11 or 12. But no, it's great for the younger guys and to get a bit of exposure and get that valuable experience, on the TV. It must be quite daunting, seeing the TV cameras there, or did that not faze you in any way?
No, I didn't have many shots, but I didn't notice them. I got to be honest, I didn't bother me at all.
I think we've had players on before, haven't we, Lee? We've had some players who've been on the tour for a while who have said it affects them at times, mainly because they're used to playing on the outer tables, and then suddenly they get a big draw and they're in on the big ones. So they've not only got Ronnie or someone to play, but they're also on the different table, and it feels different, and the cameras are on and people are watching in bigger numbers, and even the most experienced players can find that quite tricky. It's such a difference, isn't it, from what you're doing day to day in your club at home to then be in that situation.
Yeah, I think that's probably the thing. When for a lower ranked player, the only time you'd get on is when you play like Ronnie or Judd or Mark, and then you're not only playing Mark, you're playing with a TV table. It's totally different. Then you start missing, and then you're looking at the cameras, and then it's gone before you know it. Then, so it's tough.
Do you ever wonder what the commentators are saying if you miss a bad shot?
No, I don't bother. It
wouldn't bother, It must be things, these sort of things must go through players' heads at times. So
yeah, Lee's probably the best to talk about that, because he always says it. Like, he's thinking about if he misses a shot and there's people watching, he's thinking about what they're thinking. But stuff like that doesn't really bother me. Just got to get on with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, again, I'm trying to think which episode it was. We did get somebody who said they almost felt pressure they knew the crowd would gasp if they missed, and they knew there'd be shouts for the other player to come back on again, and almost thinking about that as they were going, as if to say, if I don't pot this, I know what's coming up, and I'm halfway thinking about it already.
Yeah.
But surely that's really getting in your head, though, isn't it? That can't be healthy.
Yeah. Well, Mark's attitude is unbelievable, and he's probably got the best attitude in the game. He just never looks any different, does he? Whether he's playing in front of millions of people or he's playing in the club, he just looks exactly the same. I'm sure he got ice in his veins or something.
You said it's interesting because you said he cares. You're almost making the point as if to say he comes across happy-go-lucky, but actually there's a real competitor in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
But is that genuine then? Do you think that thing around he appears the same wherever he is? Do you think do you think he almost just, I'm not sure about trains himself to be like that, but he's almost got a way and a method of approaching the game that never really changes from tournament to tournament then?
Yeah, I think he is just like that. He's so relaxed and everything, but I think once he gets on that table, he don't want to lose. He doesn't want to lose to anyone. He's trying everything. But I think if he did lose, I don't think it hurt him as much as it hurts anyone else.
Right.
But he is trying his absolute hardest at it, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, he does say in interviews, that he's not bothered. He's just going home and just another game to him. But I've always thought that can't be entirely true. You know, as a competitor and being the competitor that he is and won as much as he has, he's got to be bothered. It's got to.
He does say he's not bothered, but like, I don't know. I think exactly the same. I think he's got to be bothered. Like when he lost to Robertson, he tried 6-5 and he tried swerving around that green. And he said he wasn't bothered by that at all. I'm thinking, how can you not be bothered by that? He just went and played golf the next day. That's what he does.
I bet he went home and kicked a cat.
Yeah, I would have, definitely. I would have kicked 10 of them.
Oh dear. No, but maybe that combination. What about Lee? So obviously we talk about Lee's influence on you as a coach. I mean, his demeanor, he seems fairly kind of upbeat, seems to be, you know, kind of quite obviously the experience he has, there's nothing new that he's going to get phased by. He kind of knows what to expect. Does his demeanor, does that help as well? Does that rub off on you in some ways?
Yeah, I think like Lee in practice, well, when you watch him in practice, he's just a totally different player to how he plays in a match. He's so fluent and fast and very attacking, and when he comes to a match, like he said himself, he just can't stop it. He like tends to go slower and he tries to do everything perfect, but you just got to get on with it. The more you think about it, the more you will complicate it for yourself. That's what he always tells me. So you just got to get on with it. But to Lee, that's unbelievably hard to do. So
we spoke to Lee about that, Michael, didn't we? And Lee put it down to confidence.
Yeah. I think if Lee could get like a couple of good wins under his belt, I think he could go on a couple of good runs, but it's just getting them wins, isn't it? It's so hard when things are going against you and you just got to try and get out to them now.
Yeah, but certainly a great player, and, you know, all the seasons he spent on the tour, you know, say exactly that. You know, he's a great player.
Yeah, in practice, well, he is unbelievable. Like the players in Wales who got to play, it's great, really. The match practice is, I don't think unless you'd be in like Dings Academy or something like that, I don't think you can get any better practice from around here, and they're literally all within half an hour of each other. It's great.
Wow.
Yeah, you see that, don't you, with almost clusters of players who live close by or who play at the same place and stick together, and how that helps them as well. I mean, we've got a little bit of that with people like Gary Wilson and Elliot Slessor. You know, kind of, there's Matt Sell, there's Joe Perry, there's people around there. Even Neil Robertson, I think all of them are all in that kind of all around the Cambridgeshire area and kind of know each other as well. And you kind of look at it, don't you, and you think actually that support or that feeling of not being on your own, because it must be, especially on the tour, it must be quite a lonely existence at times. It's that you're on your own.
Snooker is a lonely sport, isn't it? You're going into every game on your own. I think single sports are like that. You're going into every game on your own, traveling on your own maybe. So it is nice to have someone like Lee who could travel with you maybe. It's perfect. Yeah.
Well, of course, now any tournaments you go to, I mean, you should expect a minibus full of fans to come and join you. They've set the expectation now.
Yeah.
Where's the bus?
I think after the shootout, they've scarred them. Come all the way to watch the 3 shots.
I'll tell you what, though, there was some decent shots in there, though. Even those 3, you had a very nice one. So let's not take that away.
Yeah, well, when he split them reds, he was never going to miss from there, was he? He split them perfect.
Yeah, it could have gone any way, that, couldn't it? I mean, he ended up nicely, didn't he, in the middle there, and kind of took it on. But another day, you just don't know, do you? It's so unlucky.
And of course, when he's in that position, you're sort of resigned to that on, and you must have been a bit gutted, you know, when he's clearing those up.
Yeah, well, I saw Mark was always saying you've got to go up there expecting to lose, because it's one of them tournaments you just got to expect to lose, and if you win, it's total bonus. So that's the attitude I went up there with. So it wasn't that bad. Yeah,
but you must have felt like so hard done to, you know. 2019, it was the same thing, and then another century against it. It must have been quite hard to take. You just want to go out there and show what you can do.
Yeah, you just got to think your time will come, and now it's only 10 minutes, so you just got to keep waiting for your chance, and your time will come eventually.
Yeah, bigger and better things ahead.
Yeah, I've had invite to the Welsh Open as well now. So hopefully,
wow, brilliant.
Have more than 3 shots there.
Well, that's great news. Really good news. Yeah, it's exciting times. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? You know, your name's getting known out there more, and you're kind of on the radar. That's the good thing, isn't it? You just need now that break to get yourself on the tour. And then away you go. You get the hopefully 2-year call card and the chance to really start getting yourself established, and plenty of time to do it.
Yeah, Leo always says to me, I got loads of time, but like I said, I want everything yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's only old people who say that to you. It's only like myself. It's only old people who say, "Oh, you've got all the time in the world." Because when you're a point in time, you don't want to wait, do you? I mean, what's the point? You're ready to go now. Why would I not want to get in there now?
So, how many hours a day, Liam, are you practicing? Are you in every day?
Yeah, every day. This morning I got dropped. I done a day on my own today. This morning I got dropped off here at Alba State, and I just finished practicing before I come on here.
Wow.
And the table's still set up. I'm going back down now after I finish there.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's dedication. But I suppose it's got to be that way, isn't it? Because other guys are doing the same.
Yeah. And I think, like, I do practice a lot, but that gives me confidence, because I know once I go to a tournament, I've done absolutely everything I can do to win that tournament. So that gives me confidence as well. So it's good.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, I get, and I don't know if it's true, and you guys are again a better place to say, but is there something about if you practice enough that almost you're more instinctive going for shots, and you're more kind of, you've played them enough anyway that, you know, the common angles, common shots that you're playing at, you're not having to really think too hard. I mean, I get the impression you're not going to be a slow player.
No, definitely not like Lee. Bit faster than Lee.
I think you know, if you're cueing well going into a tournament, and you've got in your head that you've done the work and you've done everything possible, I think, as you said before, Liam, the confidence is already there. Yeah. And you can actually feel that you're cueing well. Yeah. You know, so you're sort of expecting the pots to go in. So, you know, if the work's done, you know, then it's just to see how far your talent gets you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Welsh will be exciting, won't it? As you say, it gives you've had a taster again with the shootout, but this gives you a chance now to kind of build something, doesn't it? Because you're not going to be there just for a short time and see how it goes, a lottery. This is a chance for you to really kind of show and bring everything you've been doing to that arena, which would be great.
Yeah, that's like, even though it's probably a long shot, but I'm still going there to win it. I'm not going there just to make the numbers up. I'm going there to win. So see what happens.
It's certainly the way to be thinking, you know, and I'm sure you've been told that's the way you've got to think, because I think if you're putting that across to your opponents, that sort of attitude, then it's maybe worth 7 or 14 before you start the frame.
Yeah, definitely.
It always staggers me how competitive it is, you know, in terms of the quality of the players in the tour, and obviously yourself getting into that tournament as well, because surely, you know, everybody on there is capable of getting, well, certainly centuries against any player if you get in, and if it lands the right way for you. And I often think, what's the difference then? Why is it that everybody can get centuries, but it's the same players who tend to progress to the latter stages? Although we're seeing a bit more of a mix lately, I think. Yeah. But you kind of look at it on your day. You can go as far as you want, can't you? What's the limiting thing, really?
Yeah, definitely. I think snooker's one of them games. If it's your day, you're not going to lose, and that's the end of it. You just got to hope it's your day more than not, and that's what the top boys do. Is their day more than it's anyone else's day. So it's about consistency, really, and all the boys on the tour, they can all play unbelievable snooker, but the ones in the top 16, top 32, the majority of the time they're always playing unbelievable snooker. So I think that's the main difference.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about Jackson Page, and this is about you, but obviously, you know, you've got quite a close relationship with these guys. We had him on a little while ago, quite early on in the podcast, and last season we'd looked at his stats. I mean, he'd got loads of last frame deciders last season, and you could see that if he'd won some of them, he was going to go deep into tournaments against some very good players, and it's not really happening for him yet this season. I don't know whether he confides in how he feels about that, but he just seems like he's on the edge of something big, but it's not quite boiling up for him this season so far.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. I think I don't know. I think snooker's just a weird game. I think it gotta be the right time for you, if that makes any sense. When it's your time, it will come, but you just gotta wait for your time. So I think patience is a massive thing. You just gotta keep waiting, keep practicing, and then the time will come.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So it's exciting. I mean, I'm excited for you, and obviously we'll look forward to the Welsh Open and see how all that goes. Lee, should we just do a little bit of the old clearing the colours? So it's a bit of a quick fire round, really, just to ask you a few questions there, Liam, unless there's anything more, Lee, that you were hoping to find out from Liam.
No, I think Liam's covered everything. You know, he's got a bright future ahead, but can he clear the colours?
Can you clear the colours? Okay. So the first one, this is quite an easy one, but I'm interested in your answer. So for the yellow, then, to clear the yellow, who do you think the funniest player around is? Whether that's on tour or somebody else you experience around, who's the funniest one to you?
I think Marcus, I gotta be honest, some of the stuff he'd come out with is just unbelievable. Unbelievably funny.
Is he very deadpan? He seems very dry and deadpan. Is that how he is? Yeah.
Everything he says is just hilarious. Unbelievable.
There's still that famous interview with him, isn't there, where he's almost naked, isn't he, in one of the interviews?
Yeah.
You still pick that one up.
Crazy.
All right, that's the yellow gone, Lee.
Okay, obviously you've not played at the Crucible yet. That's coming. But what would be your favourite venue apart from the Crucible?
Definitely the Masters, Ali Pali and the Masters. That just looked out of this world, and the atmosphere and everything there looked unbelievable, incredible.
Yeah, fantastic atmosphere to play in. All the players got a fantastic reaction, didn't they?
Yeah.
Do you think that's the green? Do you think the place was a lot of that, Lee? Just out of interest, do you think the place contributed to that? You know, the surroundings as well as the people who were there.
Yeah, definitely. And with there only being one table as well, like one table just from the start, I think that helps massively as well. When you have a one table setup, it's just, I don't know, it just makes you feel, it puts that extra edge on it, and I don't know, but definitely the one table setups are different.
Yeah, and I think they can fit so many more people in that venue as well. So it's got to add to the atmosphere a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's like a gladiator going into the arena, isn't it? It's it's probably imposing or exciting, depending on how you feel. All right, that's the green. The yellow and green are down. So the brown one then, and this is a bit of a loaded question because you might want to answer yourself on this one. But who do you think the player most likely to win their first ever World Championship will be? So just thinking of somebody who's not won it yet, who do you think the next debut one will be?
Yang Ming Tao, probably.
Ah, okay, that's a good one. Yeah,
we usually get Kyron.
Yeah, or Kyron, but they both got the game for the World Championship, didn't they?
Yeah,
they just solid and they all the time.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that mixes it up a bit. As I say, we've had a lot of Kyrons. We probably had one or two Yangs. I'm not sure, but yeah, definitely we can add him in there. That's a good one.
Okay, Liam, blue ball question. I should probably ask you this in 20 years' time, but here we go anyway. Which actor would you get to play you in a film about your life? Everybody struggles with this. They don't have to look like you.
Or we could just ask for your favourite actor and then they could just do a makeup job and be you anyway, whoever they are.
Not really a massive fan of films, I'm not too sure. I think. Oh, I tell you, have you ever watched Bodyguard? The one with what's her name? Whitney Houston in.
Oh,
Whitney Houston. I'd like to be the bodyguard. That's what I'd pick.
So Kevin Costner.
Kevin
Yeah,
Costner.
that's him. Yeah.
Good choice.
I'll be honest with you, Lee. If we'd said at the start, who do we think Liam's going to choose for the actor to play him, I wouldn't have gone for Kevin Costner.
That would have been my choice.
Oh, it would have been, right. Yeah. No,
Kevin Costner.
It was more obvious to you then. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. Good choice.
We're nearly there. The pink ball question is similar to the first one in a way, but whether it's the same person or not. But what about the nicest player? Is there somebody that just comes across to you as just being just such a quality, down-to-earth, nice person?
Definitely Lee Walker.
Lee Walker.
He'd do anything for anyone.
Yeah.
He certainly comes across as a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice.
Don't tell him I said that, mind.
we can edit it out, don't we? We can edit it out.
It's funny when you asked Lee that question when he was on Michael, he never said Liam.
He didn't.
No, I wouldn't expect that.
No, it was quite harsh, really, wasn't it? Yeah.
Okay, Liam, to clear the table, black ball question. What would you call your autobiography if you wrote one?
Oh. The Dream Life, maybe, something along them lines.
There we go.
The Dream Life, right. Well, what we do rather cheekily, Leo, is we use the autobiography title as the episode title for this one.
Oh, lovely.
So with your permission, we'll call this episode The Dream Life then, with Liam Davies. Very good. Great. Well, yeah, I think the colours are gone, aren't they, Lee? I think they were successfully dispatched.
Yep, that's them. They're done. They're done.
Well, it's the first time I ever cleared the colours without twitching.
Mind you did twitch in that blue ball.
Yeah, just a bit. Bit of stuff there, wasn't I?
It's probably the first player who's ever had Kevin Costner save his break.
Exactly.
This doesn't happen very often. Look, Liam, really, just, I mean, all I've got to say now really is just a big thank you to you for spending a bit of time with us. You obviously did at Crimbo as well, which was good fun. You know, really wish you well. It's not just because you're young and you've got so much time ahead of you, as we keep saying. But genuinely, you know, you seem like a good fella, a good grounded fella, and you've got a good work ethic and you want to do well for yourself. So just wish you all the very best. And obviously we'll look forward to the Welsh Open now.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Liam. We'll look forward to keeping an eye on your results and we wish you best for the future.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Right. Take care of yourself, Liam.
Yeah, see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Cheers.